Welcome to the Dodger Download, the official podcast of the Fort Dodge Community School District. Each episode brings you the latest updates from our schools, including school board recaps, interviews with educators, staff, and students, plus upcoming events and stories from around the district. Whether you're a parent, student, or community member, stay connected to what's happening in the Dodger Nation. Let's dive into this episode of the Dodger Download. Welcome to the Dodger Download. This is the official podcast of Fort Dodge Community Schools. I'm Superintendent Josh Porter, and we're excited to be here today to talk everything about curriculum across Fort Dodge Community Schools. Whether you're a proud parent, student, or proud Dodger, we're glad you're here with us today. Before we dive into today's episode, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Unity Point Health of Fort Dodge. In Fort Dodge, care isn't just what we do, it's who we are. At Unity Point Health Fort Dodge, every nurse, every doctor, every specialist puts you at the center. From welcoming new life to guiding recovery, we deliver more than medicine. We deliver hope, compassion, and connection. Because here, it's not about patients and providers, it's about neighbors and helping neighbors. All right, so before we dive into today's topics, it's time for board tidbits. So on Monday, the 22nd, we had a non-traditional meeting. We had a noon meeting, take care of a few items. Mainly our main thing when we do this, our last meeting of the month is for financials and to pay our bills. So kind of an important thing to do as a school district to make sure we pay our bills. But we did have a few really key items on there. So we're going to do our final pay app for our transportation building, some work that's been done out there. We are also approving a intent to go to a CMAR. So that's a construction manager at risk. This is kind of new to the state of Iowa, but with our bond, with us passing the bond, this process will really streamline and help things out a little bit. So it takes a little bit of weight off probably Ryan Utley and myself and Mr. Hansel from the financial side. But we will be posting a notice of intent, which should go out on the 23rd. That has to be posted for 14 days. Just the notice of intent that we're going to use a construction manager at risk for this process. So there's really about 3 ways that you can go about it. We have a facility team. That team met a couple times. We've met with ISG, who is our architect and engineer for the projects, for the bond projects. And so we feel like this process is going to be what's best for the school district, the most fiscally responsible way to spend our money, the cleanest way to go about the work. And so that notice of intent will be posted after 14 days. Then we will release the RFQ, which is the qualifications to meet the CMAR process. So we'll be open up, and it'll be open up at that time for people to send their information into the district and go about a process. It's a new process. It's been good learning for me, so it's been interesting. Okay. So
excellent.
But outside of that, for board tidbits, that's it for this week. All right, so I'm excited to introduce my guest today. So Teri Boezinger is the Director of Curriculum and Instruction. While that's her title, she wears tons of hats in the district and is a part of a lot of conversations that happen in the district. So Teri, just maybe talk about, I don't know, you give them a little bit of brief background on you and your work history maybe, and how long you've been in Fort Dodge.
Okay. So let's see. I started my educational career in Nashville, Tennessee, an inner city public school. I taught grades kindergarten and 1 for a few years in Nashville.
So you're saying there's more to Nashville than just country music and
I do.
The tourist experience?
Mm-hmm. But my husband, Bob, and I like to say that we left Nashville before Nashville was cool. Oh. So Nashville's cool right now. When I was there, we were there for about 7 years. Okay. Bob finished his master's degree there, and then we left for our home state of Colorado. I taught there kindergarten through 3rd grade, a stint in 6th grade for about 8 years. Okay. And then we moved to Iowa. Oh. Taught in eastern Iowa for about 8 years. And then I left the classroom and worked for Central Rivers AEA as a literacy consultant and school improvement consultant for a number of years. Okay. And now I'm in Fort Dodge. Yes. This is my first year in Fort Dodge as Director of Curriculum and Instruction. Yeah. And we've just We've been around a little bit.
So is it
doing
your
a lot
first
of
year in
things.
Fort Dodge?
This is my third year.
Third year in Fort Dodge.
Did I say first
You
year?
said first year in
This
Fort
is
Dodge.
my third year in Fort Dodge. Sorry.
It feels like brand new for you?
They roll together.
They
They just keep going.
Yeah.
Yep. I think it's just one continuous year after another.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
Yep. Right now, today, I'm in the midst of writing 3 grants.
Yeah.
We're just writing, trying to make sure we have funding to support all of our initiatives. Probably the biggest initiative we've worked on in the past few years is the rollout of our new literacy curriculum. Yep. Yeah.
And so that's been a big initiative. That's been a lot of work. It's a lot of work for you. That's a lot of work for our admin and our staff.
It is.
And I mean, now reflecting back, this is year 2, right? We're halfway through year 2 of implementation.
Year 2 of implementation in elementary. Year 1 of implementation in middle school.
In middle school, yeah.
Yeah.
So what are the challenges of rolling out? I mean, so for people that are not in education or parents, like what are the challenges of rolling out new curriculum? Maybe even just for teachers. I feel like that's the group that has the largest impact, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, so change is hard.
Yep.
No matter what you do, change is hard. Making decisions, I think, has been a large impact for teachers. What were we going to choose? What were we going to adopt?
Yep.
The financial responsibility of the district. It's a big financial responsibility to take on new curriculum.
Yep.
But now that we're into year 2 of elementary, I think one of the biggest takes on this is changing instructional practices. We've moved toward a kind of a 1 system of literacy curriculum into a 2 system of literacy curriculum, and it's a big change.
Yeah.
And so change is hard. The hardest part about change, I think, is getting rid of the old. Bringing on the new is not as hard. So
probably especially for our veteran teachers. If you've been teaching, a 2nd or 3rd grade classroom for 25 years and teaching literacy a certain way, and now all of a sudden we're going to do a full shift. Yep. I have to imagine that is difficult.
It's difficult. And to envision literacy in kind of a multi-tiered system. So we really envision literacy as building the needs for all of our students, making sure all of their needs are met. So from our advanced students to our to our learners who are struggling the most with literacy, we have support for them in place. Yeah. And so it's not only learning what we do for every child, it's learning what we do for the children who may not be within the limits of what we consider typical trajectory student learning.
And that was kind of the goal, right? How can we increase rigor, which is a widely used word often when it comes to things, but how do we do that for all kids?
Yes.
And I know that's a challenging task.
It is.
And it's a lot for you and our admin and our staff to think about that. And
it is. It's a lot, but it's not a lot too. Yeah. We made sure that our curricula was very aligned. Yep. And so once we learned Tier 1 instruction, which is the instruction for every student, it's easier to bring on, we call it Tier 2 and Tier 3 instructions, so we intensify the instruction as we go up the tiers. Yeah. They're very aligned, but making sure that we look at data, making sure we understand student needs is critical and important.
And I think along those processes, to kind of mirror what we were doing, we also talked about revamping or just cleaning up our PLC process, MTSS process. For those out there, just talk maybe a little bit about why it's important and what MTSS and PLCs are and how they align with what we're doing every day.
Yeah, so MTSS is a multi-tiered system of supports, and it just means that we have instruction in place for all of our learners. We kind of talk about teaching to the edges sometimes and how we teach to all children, not just the children who we feel are typically progressing. And so MTSS is really a system where we add on instructional strategies for students. So everybody gets a core, and then we start adding on interventions. So we'll add on a tier 2 intervention, which is kind of a moderate intervention, and then we intensify and add on again. So our neediest learners get a very robust instructional program to support their needs and close the educational gap. And then our PLC process, PLCs are professional learning communities, and we really try to be data-driven and learning-driven. So we support a lot of our teachers with professional learning, but it's also really important to look at data, make sure that our students are doing the things that we want them to do, and if they're not, what are we going to do about it? So we have a pretty specific process in place for
those two, MTSS and PLC, have been going on for a long time in a lot of districts, and specifically in Fort Dodge. We had some of those things in place. I think when we transitioned to new curriculum and had those conversations, now we just kind of talked about cleaning up a little bit or a re-energized focus, right?
Yes. We have a fairly aligned PLC agenda for all of our schools, and we walk through a 6-week intervention cycle. And so everybody really sort of follows the same agenda. Of course, it's different from elementary to secondary, and in different buildings they have different needs for students, but we follow a similar agenda. We use a very specific template to make sure that those agendas are working and up to date and important for us, and doing the things that we need them to do.
Which is difficult in our system, right? We're just such a big system, and we're not so big that it's impossible, and we're not so small where it's a little bit easier to process. But I do know just with scheduling, right? Just the daily schedule of middle school and high school are just completely different than elementary. So finding that PLC time and that MTSS structure does bring on some different challenges, which I think we've adjusted, right? I mean,
we have, yes. We continually look at those agendas and the time frames and the schedules for teachers, and we make adjustments almost on the daily about times that we meet. We know teacher collaboration is one of the most important things we can do for kids, and so we really focus on making that time available. So when you implement new curriculum, just like we did with literacy, we'll talk about math. We will talk about math.
We're going to talk about math in a second because, sometimes legislation kind of controls what we're doing. It does. The positive part with our literacy, we kind of already had those things in place.
We did.
And then they came in and required us to do some things with literacy. We already had our curriculum. We already aligned it with what the state allowed us to do for literacy, and we were already starting those processes. But how do you evaluate the success of a curriculum implementation? I know everybody's going to talk about test scores or scoring. I know that's a big piece of it.
It is.
But how do we evaluate if it's successful or not?
Yeah, that is a really good question. And we look at this is kind of interesting, but we look at both what we call lagging indicators and leading indicators. And so lagging indicators are things like the ISASP assessment. It's something that tells us how we did. We're more interested in looking at leading indicators, which tell us how we're doing, so that we can adjust and make adjustments on the daily almost. And so those things are things like classroom assessments, short unit assessments for curriculum, intervention assessments. We do a FAST screener, which we screen kids 3 times a year. That gives us some more leading data so that we can understand how we did. We also just look at daily performance and students writing and students reading and
what they're doing every day.
Every day in the classroom. Yes. So there's lots of data pieces in there.
Yeah.
We look at lots of data pieces and make decisions frequently.
The part that we both know is there's only one set of data that everybody really sees.
Right.
And what's important to us it just, is a little different than those lagging indicators, which is announced to everybody and reported through the state and very public information. It's the leading ones that they don't see us working on every day, and the teachers grinding through and figuring out how to get, student A to improve on their literacy.
Yeah, once lagging information comes out, which is ISASP, this year it's going to come out in late June.
Yeah.
The year is over. Students are gone for the year. So it's pretty hard for us to make adjustments then.
Right.
We certainly do look at that data, and we certainly do use that information to make plans for the following year.
Right.
But it is lagging. It's kind of done at that point. It's a summative assessment. How did we do?
Yep.
Yeah.
So the next thing on the docket, well, there's a lot of things within curriculum that are next on our plates, but the one that we definitely have to make adjustments for is math. States kind of come in and said, hey, here's the expectations for how schools are going to operate math, which is okay, which means, we know where that is at and what our requirement is. Yep. What are some of your thoughts and initial thoughts on what's next for math?
So when Josh comes around and talks about the states kind of mandating some math stuff for us to do, we have personalized learning plans in both literacy and now this year math.
Yep.
And so right now we're not looking at our core math instruction. We're looking at our math intervention instruction. Right. We'll look at our core math instruction in a few years, but not quite yet. And so we have just adopted a math intervention that we call SOAR.
Yep.
And it is very skill-based and skill-focused for students. We also have a math intervention that we use for number fluency, so for fact fluency, so students can become automatic with their addition, subtraction skills, their multiplication, division skills. But we can easily diagnose a math skill deficiency. I don't want to say deficiency, but a gap, I guess, is better.
A skill that they're struggling at.
Yep, a skill that they're struggling with. And teach that skill, just kind of in-time data on the daily.
Yep.
And so we're newcomers with SOAR. Yeah. And it is something that we have a very small group of teachers utilizing right now. We're doing a lot of professional learning around SOAR, and we're building that system. So I'm excited about it because it is, I think, the missing piece for us for math. And we can poke holes at where we are with our students with math skills and build that up. Instruction's
coming pretty individualized at times,
right?
It
is.
Very much.
Yes,
and so
very much.
You're a teacher with 20 to 25, maybe 27 kids in a classroom. Individualized instruction can be pretty difficult at times.
Yes, it can.
It's not an easy task.
It is not an easy task. We, in our elementary schools, it's much easier to do this, but we have a walk to intervention system, which means that we look at, in both literacy and math, we look at skill gaps for students, and then they can go between classes and receive instruction based on that very specific
based on the skill that they need. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Working on that in the middle school right now with new curriculum adoption. So we have some kids moving in their MTSS time and their skill development time. Also working on that in the high school. We have a literacy lab time in the high school now. So we're getting closer to a system that really pokes at individual skill development for kids. Mm-hmm.
It's awesome. So kind of getting away from the literacy or the curriculum conversation a little bit, but still staying on topic a little bit. But what does a day look like for Teri Boezinger?
Ooh.
If you were going to tell somebody what you did, what you have going on in a day.
Well, I mean, it's different every day. Sometimes the day is planned.
Yep.
Sometimes, right now, I'm working on writing grants to keep some things at top of mind for us. I spend a lot of time in schools.
Yeah.
Do walkthroughs with administrators, looking at looking at the needs of teachers specifically, so we can build professional learning plans for our schools. I support administrators quite a bit in their buildings with curriculum, with knowledge building. I do some professional learning for the district. I bring professional learning resources into the district. I work on PLCs. I work with our district leadership team. I do a lot of data assessment.
Lots of data assessment.
I do a lot of data.
She really likes data a lot.
I do. The numbers speak. So I do a lot of data analysis.
That's a lot for any given day.
It's a lot for any given day. Yep.
So what makes your position enjoyable? What's the funnest part of your day?
The funnest part for me is when I get a call from an administrator asking me to come and look at the amazing things that students are doing in their classrooms. Just on Thursday, I did get a call from the Early Childhood Center to come and take a peek at what the kids were writing in class and what they were doing, and it was really exciting to see that progress.
Which, if I had to, in a nutshell, I'd say the same thing. I love it when they're like, "Hey, come check out this celebration," or come see what's going on here. Yes. Come look at this collaboration. It's always a ton of fun.
It is. It's fun for me to see the exciting things we're doing. It's exciting for me to hear from teachers that what we're doing is right and working for them. It's fun for me to be in professional learning sessions with teachers and just be able to focus on the new things that we're working on and see our growth.
And these things take a couple years too. I think that's what's really important, you know. So sometimes when you have new curriculum, you take a little dip in scores because implementation years are pretty tough. Yep. We kind of flatlined, which is not good or bad, I guess, to that sense. And I said, so I'm assuming this year will kind of be our next step. And at the end of year 3 will probably be our really big indicator if, you know, did we choose the right curriculum? Are we doing it with fidelity? I know in a system this big, that's probably, I hear you talk about that a lot. That's the biggest struggle we have is how much fidelity can we have across the district with the teaching of the curriculum. And it's hard because every teacher's kind of their own human, you know, and we love to tap into their skill sets because everybody's a little bit different. And
I think fidelity is probably one of the hardest things that we address because we want to give teachers the ability to respond to student needs, but we also want to stay very focused on the curricula and where we need to focus with kids. And so there's a space in there, the sweet spot that we like to be. Finding that sweet spot is sometimes a little bit challenging. It's
really hard. Yep. Every administrator is a little bit different with it as well. You know, it's just there's all kinds of moving targets out there for you, Teri.
Yes. And I like to say, as long as we're moving forward and not backward, then we're moving in the right direction. So those atomic habits, that 1% of growth, that's really, if we can do 1% every day, pretty soon we've turned it around.
Turned it around a little bit. So, well, awesome. I don't have any other specific questions, but is there anything else you want to share? You've been at a few different buildings, like your experience, you know, your experience in Fort Dodge, you know.
It's growing every day.
Growing every day. Meeting all kinds of new people.
I am a learner at heart. I like to learn and I like to grow. So we have new things on our horizon. I have new things on my horizon personally. I'm going back to finish my doctoral program in the fall. We focus on professional learning, I think, most of all, and I think that's one of the most rewarding things we can do. So
awesome. Well, thanks for joining me today. Appreciate it. And I appreciate everything you do for the district. So
thank you.
Teri is a lot of times my first call when I need some help, or if I have a question, or if I need something, or if I think I know something, but I'm not 100% sure. And I need someone either to tell me, no, that's not right, or, hey, you should look into this, or say, yep, you're right, Josh. That's okay.
Or we'll figure it out.
Or everything is figure-outable, right?
Everything is figure-outable.
Teri put a new sign up in her office that said everything is figure-outable. And I love it. It's actually right on the door as you leave. I saw that.
It is.
I saw that.
Yes,
I saw
yes.
that today.
It is hanging on my wall.
Yeah, It was awesome. So once again, want to thank our sponsor, Unity Point. As we wrap up today, just want to thank you once again, Teri, just your dedication to the district and then joining me on today's podcast. Just on the horizon a little bit. So it is Christmas break. So Teri and I are both talking about working a little bit. So our 260-day staff are still working, but most everybody is out. So most of our other administrators, teachers, staff are out of the buildings, taking a little break the next couple of weeks. We rejoin with staff on January 2nd. We have a professional development day. So we're gearing up for that a little bit, but hopefully we can take a little bit of time ourselves to relax and take a few days out of the office over the next couple of weeks. Students come back January 5th. Yep. And so I'm just going to warn everybody, January, February, we don't have a lot of days in there right now. I'm sure the weather will be really delightful in January, February, so we may catch a break in there somewhere, but January, February are usually a couple of the tougher months in education. So
they are.
It's cold. The sun doesn't shine as much.
Yep.
We don't have a lot of PD scheduled, not a lot of early outs. So, there's some things in there. So looking forward to break for everybody.
Yep.
And
Jessica Minahan on January 2nd. We're really excited to welcome her to the district.
Yeah. Yep. So we saw her at SAI. I think I talked about her in a previous podcast a little bit. But she'll be joining our district for some professional development on January 2nd. So
she will. Yeah.
I know our admin who have been seeing Jessica are super excited about her.
Yes, I'm really excited about her too. Yeah.
And her focus, her expertise is
restorative practices and trauma-informed practices. Yeah.
So really to help with our, I'm really excited for our professional support staff and our paraprofessionals who sometimes don't get that professional development that we talk about. It's a little harder. Yep. I think this is going to be really awesome for them.
It will be amazing.
Especially because, a lot of times they're the first ones that deal with the most difficult kids or the most challenging behavior. So, so that'll be awesome on the 2nd. Outside of that, thanks again for joining the Fort Dodge Schools podcast. Follow us for more stories on all of our social medias and probably from Fort Dodge Community Schools. Happy holidays and have a happy new year. Go Dodgers.
Thank you for listening to the Dodger Download, your source for all things Fort Dodge Schools. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode and share with your friends, family, and fellow Dodgers. For more update and resources, visit us at fdschools.org or follow the Fort Dodge Community School District on social media. Until next time, keep showing that Dodger pride. This podcast is produced by Spin Market and Digital. Located in Fort Dodge, Iowa, Spin Market's highly skilled team can help you increase your market by updating your website, improving SEO, designing advertisements, and producing podcasts that will grab the attention of your market. Contact Spin Market today for all your digital marketing needs at digitalagent@spinmarket.com or call us at 515-302-8026. And to learn more, visit our website at www.spinmarket.com. That's digitalagent@spinmarket.com or 515-302-8026. Or visit our website at www.spinmarket.com.